Revernauts. It's Chief Engineer Rever back again, looking down at our complex of Reverstan Space Agency. And I have a plan for this. I practiced a little bit because I started the video and never turned off the mute button. So hopefully you can hear my voice. Otherwise, I'll be recording this all over again. But that does, we'll cut down on some time. I'd like to keep the video, a little bit short and yet get a lot done. So I should be more efficient than I was the last time, you would hope, right? So having said that, we have a plan, and what I would like to do is come in here to our contracts, and like I said before, we're going to focus on the SETI contracts. And what we can do is probably one of two things, but since I know we have the technology for doing two of these, the moon flyby we could possibly do. It's not that hard. If you can get into orbit, this is not that much better, but I would like to get, and it's a probe, so we don't need to actually put people, but I would like to get some people into space this time. So what I would like to do is talk about this manned altitude record. So we'll accept that one. And then orbit and recovery, which just means if we get a Kerbal, oh, this is a probe, huh? Didn't we do, oh, we didn't recover the thing last time. Okay, well, that's kind of an issue. Okay, but I thought we orbited around, but we didn't recover the vessel, which is kind of a key thing. Well, let's take that one too. I know it's going to max out our contracts, but we'll stay focused on those two. I think we'll go for the manned altitude record first. How's that sound? And then that way, because that should be pretty easy, actually. We know we can do that. We can test out our parachute system, which didn't work so well the last time, and hopefully not kill our Kerbal. or our Revernaut. In any event, what I would like to do first, however, is it's not cheaty, but it's certainly taking advantage of the game mechanics. I would like to mention two things before we do that, though, now that I think about it. We have Kerbal Alarm Clock, which if you are using CCAN, hasn't been updated, but reports are that it works fine. So you'll have to manually download from GitHub the alarm clock and then stick it in your, basically the mods folder. I'm not going to get into how to do that, but it's easy. You just have to stick it in the right place, the right folder in the right place. If you need help with that, just leave a comment and I'll point to the place I found it. Basically the forum for the Kerbal alarm clock. But anyway, we also have this one, which is available through CCAN, is the X-Science mod. I called it the Science Now. I think it might have, I don't know, whatever. Might have had a different name, but it'll tell us all of the reports of science that we can get. You could filter it for different ways. So we could say, just show the ones that are available right this second on this craft, or just show all of the stuff we could possibly do. So you can see there's tons and tons of stuff we can do here. So there you go. And the scroll works well on this and in and out at the same time. So we could use this little thing if we don't want to scroll in and out. But now that we have that, what I'd like to do is if you drive around, or if we look at, I know you guys probably can't read that, but it says telemetry report when landing at Kerbal Desert. So we have a bunch of science that we could possibly do, like on each one of these places and in different biomes. So what I'd like to do is make a little rover that we can at least drive around to each of these areas, right? And we'll just have to make sure we hit each one. And yeah, we should be in good shape, right? Does that make sense? All right, but in order to do that, we need to come in here and we need to get these structural parts, which is good. It's only one science. So if we take that, and let's go back and leave the facility, and then we'll hop over here to our space plane hangar. And we can start building a little rover, I guess you would call it. More of a buggy, I don't know, a little car. So if we come here to structural, and again, I've kind of already done all of this, fortunately or unfortunately, but I'd like to take this girder segment XL, and then we'll shrink it down to 50% scale. And then we'll take a command seat here, And the reason for shrinking is we don't need it to be huge, for one, and I think that looks pretty reasonable and scale to this. And since the Kerbal will sit on this, I don't necessarily want to rescale that, right? Not sure how that would work. Can we even rescale it? No, so we can't even rescale that. Yeah, we're not worried about naming it right at this point. All right, so now let's go back to our structural. I want to get some of these segments. Now we want to get this, yeah, so we want to get it in this mode where it's symmetric, yeah, like that. And then, I don't know, we'll put this here, but then let's rescale them. And then we need to move them forward. All right, so we'll put 2 wheels on either end of this, and then we'll have to do the same thing over here. I don't know if there's a way to copy the parts. I don't know that it's that big a deal. But like when you're doing this scaling, it would be nice to be able to copy them. All right, so there we go. So we have a little basic platform. I guess there's other ways you could probably do this, but I want it to be nice and wide and, you know, fairly wide this way. So this is pretty symmetrical. And we'll come over here to ground wheels. If you take a look at these wheels, even though they're model S2 or M1, this one's not better. This one doesn't have as much, if you look at well, it's not really telling you there. Oh, wait, we've got to click on it. See, if you come here and look, it only goes 12 meters per second max, where this one goes faster and has better braking torque. And it's also more tolerant. So we're going to take some of those. Oops. And we'll put those on here and scale them. Yeah, we want to probably go in the middle of the back just to give it a little extra stability. Just from the first recording of this video, it was very stable little vessel we have here. Now, if you're building, I mean, the physics of this does matter. I mean, you want to try to keep your center of gravity low, right? You also want to keep these wheels about the same height, so we're not, yeah, I think that could go up a little bit. Yeah, so there we go. So what I'll do is I'd like to put on, and this is a little bit from experience, some batteries, and we'll get the bigger batteries, right? And if we just tuck them down low, because they're pretty heavy compared to some of the other stuff, that should give us a good amount of power. And then I think we could also put a couple solar panels on here, right? However, it's probably going to be dark. Even though it looks like it's light outside, it is actually going to probably be dark. But hopefully yeah, you know what, I think we'll have plenty of room. We don't have that much science. Now, we may go and do a little bit of science and see if we can't get some other different kinds of experiments, right? Let's go ahead and put some science on this thing. Yeah, so we could put, oh, we don't want the symmetry mode anymore. Nope, not that. There you go. So we'll just plop these guys in here. Now, I guess we could rescale them. Yeah, let's keep them close. Yeah, and that's all the science. This isn't actual. Well, you know what? Do we? Yeah, no, that's. They don't. I don't think they let you do any science. All right. Well, anyway, there we go. So we have a little vessel here. Okay, so now what do we need? Oh, you know, we need to move this in. Oh, let's make it look nice. There you go. All right, so now if we try to launch right now, it's going to yell at us because I don't know why it doesn't move. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Okay, well, you can see we could do different reports here, right? But we don't want to do that. Let's recover the vessel. I meant to hit the other. I don't know. I just clicked. I didn't mean to actually launch because, yeah. So let's go back into here. Hopefully it saved it like it should. Yes. Now the other thing I know is going to happen before we even launch is I know the motor directions are going to be wrong. Now these are in symmetry, by the way. When you put them in symmetry mode, you'll be able to change Both of them. So we're going to put these in reverse, and then this is going to be the back wheels, right? So I don't want the back wheels to turn. I just want the front wheels to turn like a regular car. So that should help. Now the other thing is we need to get some crew. And I have renamed, or I should say I have recruited some of the guys who are the most active. A couple have even asked for things. If you end up being a female, please don't be insulted. It just, two people, Radomir and Pachar, had asked about getting an actual Kerbal, or I had offered it to them. So I made them the pilots because I most likely use them. And then Pietro and Adam have been very active. Please don't feel bad if you're not there. And if you do feel bad at all, just put a comment and we'll get you named on the top of the list of the people I think I might recruit, and you'll have your own Kerbal. So anyways, just since Radomir is up at the top, we'll put him in on our very first mission ever. Congratulations, Radomir. There we go. So now we should be able to launch without getting that message. And we can drive around. And this is what I was doing when I discovered that we weren't actually I was in the middle of driving around. I went to unmute it and realized I was muted and all that kind of stuff, or I went to mute it. So what I would like to do is I'll show you what I'm going to do, and let's spin around and look. So there's our space, all the rest of the buildings. But if you look here, we can see that we have an EVA report, and this EVA report, or we can do an EVA report, temperature scan, all of these things from the runway at Kerbal Shores. So if we were to click on here, we can say perform all science, and then we can hit transmit, right? And so there we go. So now it's uploading it. The other thing it's doing is it's eating away our batteries, right? And we put these nice solar panels on there, but it's a little dark out. So we're probably even going to be done. Again, we're going to recover all of this stuff, so it doesn't cost us, I don't think, any extra money. And I'm going to just drive around, and I'll pause the video momentarily and then mute it like I should have. And then that way you guys don't hear any noises in the background which come out really funny if they're in 4x speed. So we will give me a second to set up here, and I will fast forward around, and I'll go to each of the buildings and I'll collect up the science. I'm probably going to have to relaunch at one point because in order to get the batteries filled back up, and then we'll go from there. What do we have messages here? Oh, contract complete. Yeah, orbit Kerbin. Okay, we'll get rid of that. All right, let me pause and just slide right into a fast forwarding mode, and we'll get all this science gathered up, see how much we get. I didn't get this completed, so it'll be news to me, but we should be able to get a good amount of science. So see you in a second. Okay, there we go. So I think we got everything that we could. I moved this guy over here just so that he would be out of the way. We can close him with this. So yeah, we still have some power, but it went really well. This is very stable little craft, or, you know, I guess you could call it a craft, but very stable little rover. And who knows, maybe we'll launch something like that one day to the moon, right? We'll see what happens. Long way before that. So let's take a look at the X Science now real quick. Let's move it down. So it's kind of better over here, but then it gets in the way of things. Maybe we can put it right up here for now. Let's just see what it shows us here as far as you kind of get an idea of what you did and what you didn't do. So it does say telemetry report at the flagpole. But I didn't really get a... Yeah, let's head over to the flagpole and see why we're not... Let's zoom in a little bit. See why we're not getting... Oops, I don't want to run over whatever that is. Like I said, this thing's very stable compared to some of the ones I've built in the past. But yeah, I was hoping to get the flagpole, and maybe I could show you guys our flag, right? Our proud Reverstan Space Agency flag. Now it's kind of right in my view for seeing where we're going. Let's maybe down here is a good place for it at this point. And I don't want to hit that. So the flag is down over by the astronaut complex. Like I said, we could take a look at the flag, spend a minute. All right, you know what? Whoa. Oh, no. Well, I didn't know that was there, huh? What the heck did I hit? Okay, well, you know, so much for seeing the flag. Let's recover the vessel. It doesn't look like it was totally destroyed. Hopefully we didn't lose too much. Let's turn that off. Well, it survived a flight. Okay, hopefully we didn't hurt Pratar there. I did switch astronauts so that they would get a little bit of an experience, but yep, 235 science. Yeah, ready for next assignment. 1 XP gain. Very good. And yeah, let's recover that. So that's why we didn't get any money back. So parts, we got a little bit of science. Yeah, we only got, I think it was what, $3,000 the thing was worth. So we just cost ourselves, I don't know, hundreds of dollars. Not too big a deal. Yeah, we have a little bit less money than we did before, but whatever. We're in good shape. I think we have less money. Yeah, I thought it was 140,000 we had maybe, right? But anyway, look at this. We now have 235 science. So let's see if there's anything in here that's screaming at us to go get before we actually go building. So this would get us more antennas. Yeah, and see, maybe we should have got the Science Junior, because I think we could ride around and get Science Junior Goo experiment data, right? Yeah, so this is mostly antennas and the nicer solar panels, which we don't necessarily need the nicer solar panels. Enhanced survivability, yeah, different size heat shield, yeah, the better parachute that can carry more weight. This one would be a good one to possibly get. Flight control. We don't need RCS stuff. And we don't necessarily need a crew capacity of 1. Now, by the way, when you see this is further control for like the MechJeb and whatnot. So these are good, definitely good to get. You know, this one would allow attitude control, which will be, you know, nice to have. So, but we really don't, none of that's really screaming at me that we have to get it, right? And that was flight control. Yeah, this is more to do with the engine. See, here's like speed control, so we could, you know, get more of those kind of things. And there's more that would be unlocked further. General construction. Yeah, remember we had a problem with the decoupler. I think I want to get, yeah, we don't need a lot of this, but this will definitely be one that, if nothing else, I think this decoupler might be helpful, because we get actually 2 different decouplers. So let's research that one. And then advanced rocketry. Baby Valiant's like a small one that does well in the atmosphere, and small rocket engine. And this is, the Terrier is very nice to have. Little, like it's just mostly made for space. And then we'd also get a propulsion control module. Now, how much do we have? Yeah, we have a good amount. Yeah, and these radial decouplers can be nice in the right circumstances. More fuel tanks. Yeah, I think we're going to go for this one as well. We'll go a little bit rocketry heavy. And then we might end up coming back because there might be... Yeah, now are we allowed to do this one? Yeah, we can do this one, but I don't think we're... Yeah, we can't do over 100 science until we upgrade the thing. So, yeah, the other thing is, do we have anything? Can we even see what's in here? Yeah, well, we'll see if there's something we're dying for. We get a bigger command pod or different command pod. Not sure what the difference is. Yeah, that stuff is all nice. Some of it's giving you more science things. The inline stabilizer is nice to have. A little bit better, bigger one. All right, well, that's enough of that, right? See, there's more flight control kind of stuff we can get. Recycling. Why does that not have any? Might be because I don't have the mods that would take advantage. Sometimes you need mods on top of mods kind of thing. And a different service bay. Okay. Yeah, so we have enough to get, what, 3 more, really. We could get, yeah, so let's just see. Yeah, we're not, once we get into satellites, this will be another, and then getting this extra science would actually be kind of nice. Yeah, let's get this one too. Well, yeah. Yeah, the extra parachutes would be nice too. All right, let's go. We're just going to try to take command to end this episode and design a new aircraft or a new rocket. I keep calling them aircrafts or crafts or everything but the right thing. So let's see if we can open. Yeah, this was Puncher 1. Was just our first orbiting craft. So let's just start there. We can just load it and see what it was. Yeah, really not too bad, is it? I mean, it got us into orbit, so it would definitely... Yeah, it would definitely... we can get rid of all of this top part, right? You know, before we do that, let's call it Puncher 2. Why not? All right, and this will be our first manned one, all kind of the experimental series. And then if we just take all of that. Now the problem is, if you notice, we don't have a central, we got rid of our, quote, root, which is okay. So we can get crew capacity of 1 here. There we go. So this will be our new root thing, you know, so we'll add on to it, then we'll shove this on there and see what it looks like, since we know that kind of works. So one thing we're definitely going to, and I don't think we need a big parachute for this. We're going to find out. Let's hope that's not our first Kerbal killed, right? But before I forget, radial cone chute. Yeah, this one should be enough. We're just going to try to get a guy up there. Let's zoom in so you guys can maybe see better. All right, so we just get the cone on there. And then let's see, we're going to need a heat shield. How big is that? That's too small. Okay. All right, you know what? We're going to slap this guy on there. We're going to... Yeah, we don't need to save it, but we'll save it anyway. And then we'll leave, and we need to go get, that was 0.6. We need the bigger heat shield. Yeah, we need this heat shield right there, which is why I didn't buy them all, because if I realized we need something that we don't have, we still should have some science points to buy 2 more things. So let's, oops. Oh, get back on that. There you go. So let me zoom in. So I didn't take off the decoupler. All right, so now we want to come over to thermal. Now, do we want to put, you know what, before we do this, yeah, those are nice and all. Service bay. All right, do we want to just take a little bit of extra stuff up there with us, make it nice, look nice and encapsulated? What does the service bay weigh? 0.1, so it's pretty heavy when we compare it to this is 0.84. So yeah, that service bay is going to weigh us an awful lot compared to the rest of it. Hopefully it doesn't make it so heavy, but we didn't put a heat shield on it, did we? No. There, this one. Can't really see too well because I put this there. Right, there we go. Now, the other thing that's nice, let's take these off for a second, and these off, is I know we got these other decouplers, and that's awful big. Let's do some symmetry. Nah, I guess it's not too big. Then what I want to do is I don't know how this, yeah, let's move. Well, that's probably fine. If we move them down, though, if we can. Sometimes it's kind of hard to move these things down too far. There we go. So now what does that look like on our... Yeah, well, this needs to be in its own thing here. Yeah, that's 1 and 2. Eject them. Turn on your thrusters. Yeah. So the total delta V is going to be, yeah, this is plenty at this point. However, let's open the bay doors, even though we got these rockets in the way. I think we could get some stuff jammed in there, right? One thing I want to do is let's put an extra... Just because this is a manned mission, I want to put an extra battery in here. Yes, that. How big is that guy? Yeah, that guy would go up top there nicely, wouldn't he? Yeah, so let's take this off. Right, so we'll get a little extra battery up there. And then let's get to... This will just be, oops, what happened there? No. There you go. Yeah, was that symmetric? Yeah, so that'll at least give us a little chance we won't end up dead in space. Not that I plan on going up there too long, but we may use Puncher 2 to get into orbit, or at least, you know, this craft could be a general craft that we might up the rockets to get a man into orbit or a man further along. This isn't the worst design I've ever seen, though we'll quickly have to get more capabilities, I'm sure. All right, so let's jam our science and other things into here. Yeah, this constantly, there's something, yeah, let's get out of this symmetry mode. Let's zoom in a bit. Wrong way. There you go. So we'll put this guy right there. Now the nice thing, you know what? I think I might put the thermometer just outside where we can click on it, because once we can click on that, we can hit perform all experiments, even if they're in here. And I don't think that'll hurt anything, and they're not expensive. And yeah, we'll put an accelerometer in there just because it is, like, if we do land, we can actually get that science, right? And we didn't get our science junior, did we? So let's put this guy. No, you're not. There you go. Doesn't really matter where he goes. And then we'll put this one. Now, can we scale him? No, we can't scale him. Good, so we have all of this stuff. Yeah, I'm really tempted to go get more science. Like, what else do we need? We've got electricity. Let's take a look at... I do wish they... Yeah, we have a parachute. Now, do we want to put extra parachutes? I don't think we need them. But there's no real way to necessarily tell if you've got enough, right? But the good news is that even if we do land a little bit hard, we'll blow this stuff up and probably not kill our Kerbal. Yeah, so I think this is probably good enough to just see more or less what happens, right? I mean, it's not a bad looking. It looks a lot better than our last one, you know? Now, do we have a Kerbal in there? Who will be the first? Okay, looks like Radomir is already self-selected. So we'll see if he can be the first man into, well, above 18,000 kilometers anyway. We are probably, should we try to get him into orbit? Yeah, I think we will. You know, like, I don't know that we will get into orbit. I don't think we will because no, we won't get into orbit, but we'll give him a good long ride, right? As opposed to going up really, really far, because you don't want to do that anyway because of the re-entry issues. All right, so let's check this. Now, this wants to be, we don't want our parachute in the same stage as our decoupling. Though you could do that. Again, I really need to I'm going to have to pay a lot of attention to make sure this parachute reopens. Yeah, and there's our throttle. Do we want to put these two together like we did last time? I don't think it matters. All right, and then the other thing is, yeah, toggle info. Yeah, it doesn't, I don't know why it doesn't let you adjust it in here. So we can do, I don't know what that's doing. Yeah, okay. All right, well, there we go. I think we're in shape. I think we're going to try to launch, and I will see you out on the launch pad. Okay, here we are on the launch pad. So we could do a crew report while landed at Kerbin Shores. Okay, I thought we already did that. Oh, that was an EVA report. Okay, so since we're actually in a vessel, well, let's get the science, right? I mean, we should be able to transmit it, so we should be able to redo that report quite regularly. What do we do here? World's first milestones. Oh, okay. We got a little credit for, little money for doing that. All right, so let's put on SAS. Oh, why don't we have, we only have stability assist. I think it's because Radomir is not such a great pilot. All right, so we have thermal. We don't want thermal. If anything, we want vessel. And we can look at our orbit stuff up here. Though we're not going to get to orbit. But at least we have SAS at this point. It might have been because that probe had a module on there that we don't have, like, because Radomir is not the greatest pilot in the world. All right, so anyway, let's see. Are we ready to go? Last minute checks. The thrust should be... Oh, did we check the thrust? Uh-oh. All right, recover the vessel. I didn't check the thrust to weight ratio after we made those changes. Oh, look, he got like another ribbon. I think. I don't know what this FinalFrontier mission is. I have to look into that. 141. It really wasn't too much worth worrying about, but I want to up that. Let's go to, 1.5. I like 1.5. I know you can do different ones, but 1.5 is pretty good. Is this one on the same thing, right? Yeah. Sometimes, watch out, because if you put them in non-symmetrical mode, sometimes that gets messed up. Okay, so we got all our Yep. Okay. Here we go. No more false alarms. We're going to hit the button almost as soon as we get out here. Make sure that... Yep. There we go. We did our crew report. So I guess I did reset a little bit. Yeah, let's put our electrical charge and whatnot up there until there's some other reason to change. Boy, we got a lot of screens on here. All right, here we go. You know what? I'm going to give this, 3/4 throttle so that when we do go to that stage, it's ready to go. Ready, set, go. Oh, we didn't turn on our SAS. If anything, we'll start. It doesn't really matter which way we head, but I don't want to go. Yeah, if anything, we want to go to the 90-degree, just so we get used to that. It's the best way to launch to get to the moon and stuff. And we'll just try to burn pretty much till we get to, like, say, 10,000 feet. You could start turning a little bit less, but we're really not going for a low orbit or anything like that, or we have to really... Yeah, now you see we're starting to pick up air resistance, which means we're not 100% efficient. But we're doing pretty well. Nice and stable craft here. There we go. Now we got out of the lower part of the atmosphere, so there we go. Now we're picking up heat. Now we're really going to start to turn. And we got good control because we still have some atmosphere plus this engine. There we go. Now we're like into an orbital kind of thing. So I'm going to just turn this. Yeah, let's shut down the thing. Let's take a look at our map. Oops. That's right. I changed the map thing because that was also part of the reason. So what we want to do is burn closer to this apoapsis, right? We let the apoapsis get too high. And remember, the most efficient burns happen like here. Now, when we get more advanced, we can actually set a burn and a timer and whatnot. And if we look at our timer, that's one of the reasons for having this alarm clock. Like we could say, add it at the apoapsis. But what we're going to do now is we can't, unfortunately, because we can only go this, we're going to have to manually go to this retrograde marker down here, right? So we can't just tell the craft to go there on its own. So we're just going to have to burn the best we can holding this. Now I'm going to turn this way a little bit because I know our path is going to change to be more horizontal, right? And we'll let this get down, fairly well below 1, and then we'll just burn our butts off full. And we're probably going to burn, close to over here. And you'll see how that marker comes to us, so to speak. Right. So probably about the time it gets here, we'll start burning. And we do probably, well, you want to burn right along your thing. Now, how much time do we have to burn? Total delta V, 39 seconds on this stage. So let's go ahead and, yeah, you know what? Now is good enough. So let's get back over here to staging. So we can see our fuel. I'm just going to burn just in this area. And we can see the time to the apoapsis is going up, right? So that we know we're being successful. You don't want, like, when you can't get that to go up anymore, you've got problems. You might even be able to get into orbit here. I don't know. We'll see. We've got, some fuel left. Nope, didn't get into orbit, which is fine. So let's jettison this guy. Right? And now we are a self-contained little vessel. So we could probably do some science here, right? Temperature scan. No, we could do a crew report. Right? And we can transmit that back. And so we can keep an eye on this. We may or may not get more of these as we go around. And let's take a look at our map view. So say this is how far we came short of, of being in an orbit. Quite a bit, which is predictable. Now the orbit we would have been in, we didn't go up with the most efficient. Like if your apoapsis here was closer to 100, that would be a good thing. So yeah, nice. Now, is there anything else we can do while we're up here? No, I mean, we keep an eye on the science. Now, another thing this used to be able to do is settings. High components complete. I thought it used to be able to stop you. Show all filters. Yeah. Mute music. I don't know what that's about, but I thought it used to stop you if you were compact window, help. Yeah. One of the mods used to slow down time for you if you got new science, which could really be annoying if you weren't wanting to do science. All right, so let's close that. Yeah, and I don't think we're going to get any more. So let's see, where are we at now we're not at our apoapsis just yet. So that's going to be the height. You can tell when this starts going down, you can see once we get to 0, we'll be at the peak in 10 seconds. But let's go ahead and speed time on 10 times anyway. And little good the actual, what do you call it's doing? Like the solar cells, right? We put solar cells on everything and then we don't ever end up in the sun. So now what I want to do, now that we're getting closer to 70,000, is I want to go turn the vehicle to retrograde. And notice that when I'm turning, we end up using more power. So now that we're on retrograde, that's good because when we come in, I don't know if it's really hard to see at night here. Hopefully it's not so dark on the recording. Maybe I can try to lighten it up. But in any event, we're facing the heat shield is facing the direction that we're going. Now we're really going to need to keep an eye on this parachute because this time we can't mess up where poor Radomir is going home in parts. Oh look, we got some science. So let's go find that. Perform all science. Yep. And see, that's the nice thing about having this thing here, where we could see that we had that science. We might have missed it otherwise and are not realizing we could have do it flying high over Kerbin. All right, so now we're getting down to where we will start re-entry heating. So let's even move closer to. There we go. So look, he's happy. Radomir is happy as crap over there about getting into re-entry. Or at least he got his mouth stuck open for some reason. Yeah, I'm not sure. This was this is like the nighttime episode, huh? Great YouTubing here, all you see is a big red streak on your screen, Genius, I say. Oh, there's our other part of our craft down there. Puncher 2 debris. Yeah, one good thing about what we did here is that we could put on the heat thing, right? So that thermometer is getting really hot, so I don't think it's going to get so hot it explodes. It usually gives you that red bar on here. But there you go. So now what I'm going to do is I want to try to activate this chute. Right? We should keep slowing down. Now it shouldn't deploy until we get under a certain height. So does that... Okay, parachute deployment failed, right? Too high. All right, so we've armed the parachute. Does that mean it'll go on its own? It looks like we're coming down in the water, which is a good thing because it makes for softer landing. So I'm wondering if I don't really like this parachute mod. Should do it at 3,000. There we go. There we go. Good, good, good. Radomir is coming home in one piece, I hope. And then around 700, it should... Well, we are going awful fast. All right, so if he gets below 10... Ooh, yeah, like, it's a little bit... So our speed here of 7 is okay. Right? Okay, so I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I have to right-click and hit deploy, because it... I don't know. I think something's different than I remember it. Yeah, and see, we need to remember to turn down this ablator more often, because it's just a waste of money at that point. You know, I guess we should be able to recover it, you would think, but... Oh, look, we can do more science. All right, so... Perform all science. No, don't do that one. Yep, transmit it. Don't do that one. Yeah, we're not going to do an EVA. We're not going to get that fancy. Though I have, well, we could, right? No, we only have 100 feet. If I had thought of it sooner, we could have done the EVA report. We'd probably get another chance. Like, once your parachute's out, you can, so we could actually have them, like they usually won't fall off there. So look, we can do more science. So let's perform all science again. And now hopefully this doesn't go poorly, though he shouldn't die at this point. So we'll do EVA. EVA report. Right? And they don't have, they used to have like collect a sample, but we're just going to hit B and board again and not, you know, let's not get too fancy until we get re-familiar with it. But there we go. So EVA report, recover the vessel, and, you know, Radomir got into space, so we blasted right past the 18,000 kilometer thing. We didn't quite get him into orbit, but I think that should be the next episode. I don't know how long this one's been going, to be quite honest, especially when I do those fast-forward segments. It's always a bit of a guess, but yeah, we got some extra science, plus all the other science that we collected on our way. Well, this is because we kept the experiment with us. Recovered a vessel after suborbital flight. Good. And we got $2,000 back. And he didn't gain any experience. Yeah. Okay, well, that's a shame. But he did get, like, buttons, so, or more ribbons. Oh, look, the first Kerbal into space. Solid, 20% solid fuel. Awarded for launching with solid fuel booster at 20% of ship mass. Okay. Not sure. Mach 3. Okay. Well, congratulations, Radomir. You seem to have quite a few ribbons for your chest. All right, there we go. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode, and we will be back in the next one, and we will, let's take a real quick look before you go enjoying it. Yeah, we didn't get much money for that. Why didn't we, did we get our, yeah, we just, it wasn't a big, huge reward, plus we cost us money to launch it, but that got us some extra science. And then what was the world first milestone? An EVA test. Okay. Oh, let's delete that one too. Good. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know this is not, you know, the most exciting thing, but at the same time, you got to start somewhere, right? So we've got a man up almost into orbit. Maybe we can throw some more fuel at him in the next episode. We got a little bit more science to work with. We can only get 2 more. If we had we need 0.5 science more, and then we could get 4 more of those unlocks possibly. But we'll see. We'll go from there. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.